Alex, welcome to another fight week. How are you feeling?
Good, man. Can't wait for Saturday, Happy to be back.
Is this your third headline event for the UFC?
Second.
Is this your second one?
Oh,
I thought it was
third.
second. No, it's second at the Apex.
Yeah, second at the third at the Apex because Davison, and then Nicolau, and then now this one. So it's my third main event. Yeah.
How's that feel?
It feels good, Not too many people get to do that in their career, and especially being a kid from a small town. You only dream about things like this, and I'm grateful every day that I'm living my dream.
Speaking of that, when I knew that was your fight week, so I looked up some old clips, and I found that there's a clip of you on YouTube, I think on the UFC channel, where you're talking to Laura Senko, I think, after your fight at the Contender Series, asking Dana, like, Dana, give me a shot. How crazy. Do you ever go back and look at that stuff and think about where your career is at now, and does this just feel sort of surreal at this point?
So I don't go back and look at videos. I actually hate cameras. I hate, not you guys, but I hate media. I hate media, but now I look back, I'm a guy, I have every pair of fight shorts I've ever had from like when I was an amateur to now, and I look back at that stuff, it just amazes me how far I've come. Like I said, I'm a small kid from a small town. You only dream of things like this, to get out of there, get out of Lemoore, and then do things like this, get to travel the world, get to be on TV. I have friends, family hitting me up like, hey, some of the guys I used to coach sending me videos of them knocking me out in the UFC game, things like that. It's all fun and games. I love it. I enjoy it. And like I said, I'm very blessed and grateful.
When you go back to that same old small town, do people recognize you on the street, or is it the kind of thing that you could still go back to a small town and you could feel normal again?
I can still feel normal, which is good. I love it. I mean, some people recognize me, but I'm kind of the guy that, like, oh, you look at me, I look down because I don't want to see everybody. I'm not a person that likes to, obviously, if you look at my social media, I'm not a person that likes to be, that posts too much. I'm not a person that, like, that's not really on there. I'm a very private person, and I don't like cameras. I don't mind taking pictures with people. Obviously people are like, oh, like, take a picture? Of course. You know what I mean? I'm not that kind of person. But if it was my choice, no.
Well, it's kind of funny. So I guess your fighting is doing the talking for you. A lot of fighters, it feels like sometimes they have to go on the social media to chirp, to sort of get these call-outs in these fights. What is it about you that here you are headlining again? Is it the fights? Is it what you've been able to show out there? Why do you think that you're getting so many of these opportunities?
I just think that I'm always ready. I don't think I've ever turned down a fight in the UFC or in general. So I think that's what that helps. Obviously, like, social media helps and stuff like that. But in 2010, when I started, Facebook was brand new. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like you had to really market yourself on social media. And then Instagram came when I was in college, maybe. You know what I mean? So it's not like I was accustomed to doing that. Where like guys now in this generation, that's what they see. That's what they feel like they have to do, and which is great. It works for people. Works for some people, but for me, I rather stay how I am. Very, very simple.
Did you finish college?
No. My mom still yells at me to this day about that. I was a couple classes away, but I mean, we'll see.
What were you studying?
Criminal justice. So my older brother Julian, he graduated from high school. He's the first one to graduate, like all of us. He's my older brother. Graduated high school, went to San Francisco State, got his bachelor's. He's a cop out in Long Beach, and then went back, got his master's. So it's kind of hard to put out there. I'm the only one out of the oldest that didn't get a college degree, and my mom still kind of smacks me up for that. But we'll see eventually.
Well, we've seen, even recently, multiple fighters have went into the law enforcement field. Is that something that you could would still interest you possibly after your fighting days are over?
Maybe. Right now I got my acai business going, stuff like that. I got different investments going. But I don't know if I can ever go back to a real job where I have someone above me, because then I could really time to fuck off, I can't really talk like the way I'm used to talking. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that.
Yeah, 100%. All right, well, so you get the headline event, you're up against Tatsuro Taira. What are your thoughts on him? Where is he dangerous? What are you expecting?
Man, he's tough. He's 15-0 for a reason. I know he was a champ outside the UFC. He's fought really good guys. People are like, oh, it's going to be an easy fight. Man, he's tough. Very good striker. Doesn't really get hit a lot. Very good grappler. Usually like a lot of the Japanese guys I have trained with in the past are very good grapplers, very good strikers. Don't have that blend. And he has the blend. He is a tough guy, He's very good. He can hurt. If you've seen his fights, he's been able to drop people. He's been able to sub people, been able to go to decision. So he's well-rounded. I'm excited for the challenge. I want to be the guy that solves that puzzle.
I was going to say, because it almost seems like, the Japanese market, this is the perfect candidate for somebody to go over there. So it's almost like the UFC is putting two future potential stars against each other. Do you kind of see it as this is a guy that's on the rise that the UFC's put in front of you as a challenge to maybe knock down?
Yeah, honestly, like people ask me, like, why'd you take this fight? You could have got a top 5 guy. I'm like, man, I'm just here to fight. I keep winning, the title shot will be there. And this guy's a prospect. He has a lot of hype behind him. I can take his hype when I beat him this weekend.
With that being said, I mean, how many more wins till you think you are in that top 5? Till you getting near that title contention?
I'm not too sure, man. I always tell people I'm not the matchmaker. I'm just a fighter. I let my manager handle that. I let Mick and them decide that. For me, in my mindset is I keep winning. They can't deny me that title shot, right? So I just keep racking up these wins, and we'll go from there.
And is it just a win, or do you need to have like definitive finishes? Some exciting finish to keep moving up, or is it just about staying in the W column?
For me, obviously, I like the way I like to fight. I like to come out there and try to finish guys, but you can't control the outcome of the fight. So for me, like obviously, I would love to go out there and touch everybody with the jab. The first 30 seconds they go down, but one of those things, a win's a win in my book.
Yeah, and with your guys' both fighting style, you got to think you guys are going to meet in the middle and then just throw lots of leather, right?
Yeah, I like that. I'm Mexican. I like that. I like to sit there and fight. So hopefully that happens. But I think it's gonna be a very fun fight. I mean, like I said, he's fun to watch. He's a very good grappler. A lot of scrambles and stuff like that. So it's also gonna be a high pace.
Keys to the victory. What needs to happen to make sure you get your hands raised on Saturday?
Keys to victory for me is just go out there and have fun, do my thing. When I'm having fun, when I'm working, no one could beat me.
Good luck for Saturday.
Thank you.
Going back to you being so active this year, what are things you do physically that allow you to just get back in the octagon so quickly?
Like I said, when I started fighting in 2010, my first year my first, I think 9 months, I did 7 fights in 9 months.
Wow.
So I'm just used to being active. I come from a wrestling background, so we compete every weekend. During our high school season, we'll get about 40 matches. In the summer, for freestyle and Greco, when we're traveling for like the U.S. team and stuff like that, the California team, I'm getting matches every weekend, at least 70 to 80 matches a week. A summer, competing, whether it's competing at tournaments, going to wrestling camps, going to national tournaments. So for me, I think that's a big thing that helps me, just come from that wrestling background.
What do you do for a break then?
Wrestle, man.
Before the last victory, you was on a 3-fight losing streak. What did you take from each loss that you applied that led to your recent victory and that could lead to a victory this weekend?
Honestly, not too much. I mean, obviously, you have to clean up things here and there, but my training schedule kind of stayed the same. I just addressed, obviously, like the jiu-jitsu. I was all right, I got to add more jiu-jitsu in, things like that. Nothing crazy major, I think when you're at this level, it's a game of inches, right? And one of those things, you can have the best camp in the world and still go out there and lose. You can have the worst camp in the world and go out there and win. I think it's a game of inches. So like I said, I just addressed certain techniques and just kind of kept going through that. Just stayed training, stayed the course. I think a lot of people try to when they lose, they try to go dive so much into that martial art or that aspect of it that they forget about everything else. And in MMA, you can't do that. I feel like in other sports you can, but in MMA, there's so much going on and so much evolution in the sport that you have to stay consistent with everything.
How would you grade your progression in the sport from your debut to now?
It's been crazy because when I first started, everybody just see me as a wrestler. And now, I had to show people that I can stand up and strike before I even got to the Contender Series, and then once I got on the Contender Series, I was able to open up a lot more. And then just watching earlier fights from when I first started to now, complete difference. I think confidence was one, not having confidence. I've come from a small town in Lemoore, and we produced really good boxers and stuff. I just never had to really show it when I was on the regional scene at the beginning, so kind of always had it in my back pocket. And finally, when I fought, I think Shorty Torres, I think everybody kind of seen oh, this guy can strike. I was like, oh, he just picked this up. I was like, I've been doing it for years. It's like, it's just time and place for everything.
So will we see more of you striking now, especially after your last victory? Will we see more of you trying to go for those knockouts?
I just kind of go with the flow. Everybody's like, oh, how did it feel when you knocked out the guy? I was like, honestly, I just threw a punch. I can't even tell you how the sequence landed or what I did. It just kind of landed. We train to fight more on instinct than kind of like more like a robot, right? You see a lot of guys train like certain things. You got to do this. You know, it's kind of like, and I don't criticize that way of training, but the way we train is more of a natural instinct. You know, Coach Colin Oyama, Tyler Wambos, and Matej Nakash, we all they all have great styles, and they all bring different stuff, and I can just pick apart what I want, and kind of more freestyle of training and drilling, you know, where a lot of guys, it's like, hey, you have to do certain things. So for me, like I said, like wherever the fights goes, it goes. Obviously, I'm the first person I knocked out in 33 fights, so I don't think I'm a knockout artist.
It sounds like you do a lot of volume training, like not going hard, but going at a consistent pace. Would you recommend that for other fighters?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really spar out of camp unless one of my training partners that's there for me every time helps me, like, you know, like Ricky Simone, Chito Vera, these guys. If they're like, hey, we need a sparring partner, like, yeah, Cody Garbrandt, all these guys, yeah, of course. But I really don't spar too much out of camp. In camp, I'll spar once, maybe twice a week, just depending. And then a lot of volume training, a lot of drilling. You know, I think drilling's a lost art, I feel like sometimes. Everybody wants to go live. Everybody wants to show that, you know, they can hang with the toughest guys. And for me, it's all about drilling, getting all the basic fundamentals down.
I kind of know the answer, but can you still speak on, like, why you don't spar that much?
I mean, I have 33 fights. You know, when I was younger, I was sparring. So when I first got into sport, like I said, 2010, I was training in a garage with Coach Mito Morales and Timo Choa, and we just didn't know, like, it was crazy. I was sparring a lot, you know what I mean? But that's just the way we trained. That's no one taught us. And then once I got further into my career, the more I started talking to, obviously, high-level athletes, people in the UFC and stuff like that, they were kind of like, hey, like, we spar, but obviously it's not like how we used to. Like, you got to start doing this, and kind of just took things from other people, and kind of that's how I kind of set up my training now.
Mm-hmm. And going back to those 3 losses, is there any one of those fights you want to get back at?
All of them. I can tell you I want to get back the fight where I fought John McAlooey back in 2011. Edgar Diaz, I already got that one back. Jared Papazi and, you know, all these guys that I've lost to, they still haunt me to this day. I'm a competitor, you know what I mean? And I don't like losing. It doesn't matter what it is, tic-tac-toe, you know, whatever. I can care less. I like to win, and obviously I want to get those fights back, and eventually I will.
And with victory this weekend, would you want to hop on the Sphere card?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I was worried about the Saturday. I know for sure after this fight, I'm going to take a break. I haven't seen my son too much this year because I've been obviously training and stuff. So I want to spend some time with him. He's coming out today, so I'm excited to see him. I haven't seen him in a few weeks. If you guys know me, you guys know that my son's probably the most important thing in my life. I love him to death. He's he's always around me, so that's probably what I post the most about on social media. So I need to spend some time with him, take him to go to watch some monster trucks and stuff like that. So that's the biggest thing for me.
Sir, good luck.
Thank you.
Has he watched you fight before?
Yeah, actually, yeah. There's videos. When he was little, I think he was like about 1. When he started walking, there's a video I have. Bruce Buffer is announcing Clagon versus Tuivasa, and when Bruce Buffer's like, and the baby's like coming up with his hands like this, and his pamper, and his time, and he starts running around. He'll watch me when I fought Makaev. He was at my house here in Vegas, and his mom sent me a video. He's like looking at the TV. He's like, "Oh, daddy." And then when I got home, he was looking at the TV, looking at me, looking at the TV. He didn't understand what it was, but yeah, he's watched me fights. He knows what I do for a living. So it's pretty cool to see.